the best fragrances for men that women cannot get enough of. I've compiled a small list of men's fragrances that I think are pretty irresistible. You're long-lasting, they just smell good, they're not gonna slap you in the face, you know, they're just good in general. And as always, all the fragrances that I mentioned will be available in the Amazon associate links down in the description below. I'm going to start with two Creed fragrances, just because I think they're both really good. The first one is a classic Creed Green Irish Tweed. The other is my sample of Aventus, which everyone knows about. I'm going to start with the Aventus because it's just kind of a classic staple for men. It's refreshing, it's powerful, it has a certain sophistication to it. It's just, it's unique in the kind of realm of fragrances. Now, there's different types of Aventus, the original, Absolute Aventus, things like that. The original Aventus is hard to go wrong with just because it's so popular, it's tried and true, and in general, it's just a very attractive, very likable fragrance overall. It's more on the natural side, it has some of those citrus notes and things like that. So you can't, I haven't really heard of anyone say they really hate the way it smells. The only complaint I've heard is the longevity. The longevity can kind of differ, but besides that, it's just a nice smelling fragrance. Now the other Creed fragrance, the Creed Green Irish Tweed, this is a classic from the 80s, so not modern, but it does still work. Now, there's some debate as to whether or not Cary Grant wore that fragrance, but nevertheless, it does smell as if he would wear that fragrance. It has that sophistication, it has just that classic masculine smell. It has some very unique notes like lemon verbena, ambergris for some musk, a little bit of violet. It's primarily a fresh green type of scent, but it does have some pretty prominent musky notes as well, so it maintains a certain warm masculinity overall. And it's surprisingly long-lasting. For a lighter type of fragrance, it'll last probably up to 7 hours, 6 to 7 hours for a lot of people. So definitely a good solid choice if you're looking for something maybe more on the classic side, very sophisticated, reliable type of fragrance. Now, if you're not interested in Creed fragrances, those types of things, then another really good option, more on the modern side, is Verto Super Cedar. This is really, really nice, very attractive if you want to go for that kind of rustic, man living in the woods type of fragrance, like a lumberjack sort of thing. Very masculine, even though I think this is actually unisex, but definitely a masculine, woodsy, more rugged type of smell to this. Now, it isn't super heavy. It's actually kind of smooth, but the wood notes that it has, specifically the cedar notes, are pretty strong. Cedar, in my opinion, is one of the best wood notes in perfumery, so it's kind of hard to go wrong with it. There are obviously some other notes mixed in, but you're mostly going for the cedar. It is called Super Cedar, so but longevity, about 5 to 6 hours, nothing crazy, but it does smell really, really good. Projection is surprisingly good as well. People in a crowd will definitely be able to pick this up off of you. And it's, again, when you go for like these natural types of notes, it's hard to go wrong because most people like fragrances that smell more on the natural side, and this definitely covers that. And again, it kind of has that rustic, woodsy forest vibe as well. Now, moving on to something with a little bit of sweetness for those who want a little bit of sweetness, then I would say Leighton from Parfum de Mali. This is nice if, again, if you don't mind some sweetness. It's not crazy sweet, but it is sweet, mixed with some spiciness, specifically cardamom, which kind of gives it like vaguely a spicy Christmassy vibe, like a spicy Christmas punch or eggnog or whatever you add spices to. But it does have that certain warmth to it, mixed with that little bit of sweetness. Definitely best for colder weather, just because, you know, it's a pretty heavy fragrance and it really sticks to you. You don't want to wear this in really hot, sweaty weather. But this is really, really long lasting. This will last at least 8 hours on most people. So very reliable type of fragrance. You're not going to have to keep reapplying it throughout the day. And you don't even have to put on that much, really. You just put on a few, you know, maybe three sprays and you're pretty much good to go for the rest of the day. And Parfum de Mali, they're kind of known for their high quality fragrances, so that's another bonus with this one. Then, if maybe Parfum de Mali, you're not into the brand, you know, sometimes their fragrances are kind of a little bit ridiculously expensive. Another one, which is still pretty high class, but in a different realm from Leighton, is Reflection Man from Amouage. This is, I mean, in my opinion, this is kind of like, it could become something as classic as Creed Green Irish Tweed. It just has that certain, I don't know, that certain masculine vibe that's kind of timeless. It has some unique notes. It has some rosemary, some pink pepper, a few florals, actually like some jasmine and neroli. Most prominently, it has something called orris root, which is the root of the iris flower. So this has a pretty strong iris smell to it, kind of similar to some of the Dior Homme variations, like Dior Homme Original has a strong iris note. This also has some pretty prominent sandalwood, vetiver, and cedar notes as well. So this is really, really nice if A, you like iris, because that's, again, a strong smell here. But also if you're looking for a strong fragrance that's not too harsh or, you know, crazy. This is more of kind of a smooth, springtime-esque type of fragrance. Definitely when I smell this, I think of springtime. Just something about the florals, but also the heavy woodsiness that it has, the pink pepper, you know, things like that. So it's definitely unique in how it presents itself. It's not for everyone. Some people don't like the iris note for men, but in general, this is a very attractive type of fragrance. It lasts quite a long time, even though it is a bit on the lighter side. I would say it lasts maybe 7-ish hours. And again, it kind of has that classic smell to it. But that is pretty much my list here of, you know, very attractive men's fragrances that women cannot get enough of. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, of course, you can always leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos like these throughout the week, so don't forget about those.